Hey guys, welcome back. It's time for another series on how trustworthy the grading companies are. Primarily looking at the bigger ones to start off. BGS, you're up first, and don't worry, all you other guys. I'll make sure to tell these stories that should be known by everyone before they put too much money or faith in these companies and these services that are being offered. You got to ask yourself, should you trust grading companies? Should you trust BGS because they are one of the biggest? Will they do favors? We saw recently a Logan Paul upgrade. Did that happen because it was Logan Paul? Or was that just a coincidence that all of a sudden you can upgrade a card that wasn't accepted prior to that? Who knows? We'll never know. My guess is that it was definitely done because it was Logan and free advertising. They probably didn't even charge him for it. But again, I don't know that. That's just my thoughts on it. They can't disclose any of that information, of course. Why would they want to? It would look too legitimate if they actually did. Weird that Logan didn't make a video on it. You would think that that would be one of the biggest moments. Just a free, easy content. Cracking the card out. That'd be super exciting, right? No, nothing. All in the shadows where it can be speculated on and nothing more. So we've seen a lot of sketchy shit go on with sports cards because primarily that's where the money is. But as Pokemon cards become more valuable, I think we're going to see a lot more of that going on. And in my opinion, people in general put too much faith in grading companies. Wherever there's potential to make money, there will be some sort of corruption. Not to mention the fact that they essentially regulate themselves. I'm sure there are some laws behind methods of them making money illegitimately. But more so just the fact that it would hurt their reputation. And we've seen sometimes where these grading companies will hurt their reputation if they think it's for the greater good of the company. So we'll cover some of that later on in both this case and in another certain CGC area that I personally disagree with, and I think the other grading companies do as well. But you never know. All right, so I guess for the most part, just like to say, if people can't tell the difference between something like a PSA 9 or 10, how is someone supposed to recognize a black label? How would someone know that they're submitting a black label? If you cracked a black label, which no one would do because that would be financially ridiculous, is it going to get another black label? I would almost guarantee that it is not. I don't think even a BGS grader can tell you if something is a black label or not. I guess maybe if they accidentally load the label printer with black, that's what you're getting that day. But at the same time, I've seen so many of these black label cards with just horrendous centering and damage on them, which should automatically prevent them from qualifying. Even experienced collectors receive grades that they don't agree with or not what they thought going in. And you see this all the time. Anyone that's receiving cards back is typically going to say, like, oh, I thought that would get better or that would get worse. Or how did it get this grade? So these people that have submit, thousands of cards are still questioning what the grader has put on the label. But that's the thing. It's subjective. And that's why I think that people shouldn't place too much value, especially on a black label. I mean, it's just the prestige of saying that you have the black label, which is like the top grade. And I think it's largely the reason why anyone would submit to BGS is those like top tier grades where, oh, what's better than a PSA 10? Like PSA 11 black label, I guess. So at that point, people seem to value BGS more in those top tier grades. And if you look even with Gary and Logan and everyone else, those higher grades, even on a base set Charizard, first edition Charizard, essentially impossible. There's no black label that even exists, so that just shows you how difficult it should be but isn't always to get these higher grades. And I understand that first edition base set wasn't easy to grade necessarily, but it also wasn't horrendous quality at the same time. So I think the biggest example here, unfortunately, is not Pokemon, but we still need to look at it because it's important to see these things that happened in other areas by the same company that could pop up in the Pokemon world. So if we look at former Beckett Grading Services, BGS, and current Leaf Trading Cards employee Joe Clemons, he statistically received so many black labels that this dude is the black label king of all time. And there's no way you can look at this, and we will, and say to yourself, there's no way something fishy isn't going on here. This man can all of a sudden just get free tendies day and night. So there's something there. We'll look at it. I don't know exactly what's going on because they're not going to disclose that. But there's something that's going on that isn't accessible to everyone. That's allowing this man and this company to receive free money, essentially. So let's take a look. Here we have it, a beautifully executed article on Blowout Cards by kyaa. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but just documentation for days. So we'll read through this. We'll take a look through. I can put a link to this thread in the description in case you want to go click on any of the links and do any investigating on your own. But we'll get the gist of it here. So they say, the purpose of this thread is to expose what I believe to be ongoing illegitimate grading at Beckett Grading Services. You may have seen posts in other threads about how Joe Clemons, WJC, I guess that's 3, III, on this forum, a former BGS employee and current Leaf employee, accounts for a significant chunk of the black labels, about 25% when I first checked, and BGS 10s on eBay. So we get the eBay link there. I think this deserves its own comprehensive thread. As this thread has grown, a lot of questions about Leaf trading cards Brian Gray have emerged as well. With thanks to SuperDan49, 312-4508 on ComC's PEJC 300, Auburn 35, HBMC, and others for great research. This is what has been pieced together thus far. So the results of Joe Clemons' BGS submissions containing at least one black label, and he has them all listed here. Big picture, according to TerraPeak data from the past year, Joe's eBay account sales are comprised of 196 black labels, 539 BGS 10s, and 651 BGS 9.5s. In percentages, that's 14% black labels, 39% BGS 10s, and 47% BGS 9.5s. So overall, Joe appears to be getting a majority black labels and BGS 10s from BGS. To give you a sense of how ludicrous those results are, overall on TerraPeak, the percentages of black labels, 10s, 9.5s is 0.8%, 15%, 84%. So I don't know if you've ever seen a grading return where someone gets a black label. They're very shocked. It doesn't happen all the time. In fact, it looks like it happens 0.8% of the time. So these numbers, inexcusable. I don't care how good your eyes are and how much of an expert you are. No one does this. Even in easy-to-grade sets like 2018 Topps Chrome Update, the ratio in the pop report is 3%, 18%, 73%. In terms of individual submission results, below are some of the submissions linked to Clemons that I started piecing together. If a card serial number is not listed, it is because it does not appear to be part of the Clemons order. Either it is an ungraded card, no record, or a card graded on a different date. Black labels are bolded. If you didn't want to look through them all, I encourage you to at least look at 8/30/2018, 81 cards, nothing but black labels and BGS 10s. That is impressive. So here we go. We got the bold are the black labels. insane. Absolutely insane. Like, look at the submission. Just entirely black labels. Here we go. We'll scroll down. Again, I'll put a link in the description, so if you want to actually take a look at these a little closer, you can do that, or pause the video. As you can see, the results are staggering. Clemons routinely has submissions in which he gets only black labels or 10s. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. How is Clemons getting these grades? The opinions expressed below are my own, his own. I would have to agree. There's no denying that this is unusual, and certainly some sort of preferential treatment. So he says, though I am confident that Clemons' cards are being graded illegitimately, it's difficult to know for sure how exactly it's going down. I agree. He could be working with a grader or graders who give his cards artificially high grades. He could be selling cards for a grader who is grading their own cards. He may have a special arrangement with BGS where he is essentially guaranteed better grades than other BGS customers. And then there's a post here, apparently, where someone's claiming that was a thing. Hopefully more information will emerge and give us all a better idea of how this scheme works. This problem is likely more widespread than just Clemons' eBay account. Based on sales through his account, when I initially checked, Clemons accounted for about 25% of all recent black label sales by himself, but Clemons has likely been selling through consigners and possibly through other eBay accounts as well, without a doubt. Here are BGS 10 or black label serial numbers sold by Clemons and Probstein, along with links to the sales. Sold through Clemons, sold through Probstein. In addition, here is a string of BGS serial numbers and grades, 2 of which sold through Probstein. These could be someone else's, but then again, has anyone else ever gotten 4 consecutive black labels besides Clemons? That's too funny. Connection between Clemons and other eBay accounts. As pointed out in another thread, Clemons previously used the email firstclasscardguys@gmail.com on this forum. So has the older account 11 rings, 13 years, with the receipts. Odd items for sales. Formerly First Class Card Guys feedback history has a boatload of BGS 10s. And odd items for sale and 11 rings, 13 years show up quite often in Clemons' feedback history. So there we go. We got him shill bidding as well, probably. Furthermore, it appears that eBay accounts EOB08, LBJ 2016, and Fanatic Investments are also very closely linked to Clemons, as I detailed here. Very nice. The connection with Leaf, Brian Gray. Here we go. We got then. There's also what appears to be a close connection between Leaf / Brian Gray, Clemons, and similar submission results as Auburn 35 established recently. The eBay account, No Gum, Just Cards, looks like it was just registered by Leaf. That's a pretty cool name, but again, it's still shady. According to TerraPeak data, that account also has very high percentages of black labels and BGS 10s. Not as high as Clemons, but certainly high enough to deserve some scrutiny, as detailed here. So Clemons sells a lot of black labels and 10s through his eBay account. So does Leaf / Brian Gray. Clemons worked for Leaf. Multiple submissions linked to Clemons or Leaf Brian Gray are serial numbered strangely, as if grades are given out before cards are serial numbered, which is contrary to BGS policy and how the rest of us have our orders graded. The similarities connections are numerous, so it seems everything that he touches, everything that Clemons seems to be part of, is just adding to how sketchy this is. Taken together, each of the top 4 individual sellers of black labels on eBay are either Clemons, Leaf, or an account very closely linked to Clemons or Leaf. How many black labels and 10s are part of the scheme is unclear, but it appears to be a lot, and also a lot of money. So for those of you that aren't aware, black label demands a huge premium. People will pay up the ass for it because that is the ultimate grade. So when you're printing those labels for free, when you're getting nothing but those in a submission, it's a lot of money that you're dealing with, and that's the issue with this stuff. There's also a separate but similarly troubling issue. Clemons seems to end up with an awful lot of the best one of ones from some Leaf products. No doubt. What this means, this is ongoing and BGS employees are almost certainly involved. There's no way orders with 22 consecutive black labels or 81 consecutive black labels and 10s are going out the door without BGS employees knowing about it. And of course, they're not going to really make a clear statement on it or be transparent about it because it'll probably make them look worse than anything. This isn't just about black labels. Clemons didn't just get black labels. He got stacks of BGS 10s too, which, as we've seen, are extremely expensive and hard to get. Odd items for sale. First class card guys also has stacks of 10s. So don't think this is confined to black labels. The rest of us who used BGS got screwed. It's one thing for Clemons and his accomplices to pad their wallets with illegitimate grades, but in order to do so, they screwed the rest of us over. To me, that's the worst part of this whole thing. And that's entirely true. So there's the fact that someone's buying a card that isn't actually that great from you. And there's also the fact that you're ruining the value of a lot of the cards that other people legitimately graded. So like this is just boning everyone from every direction, and totally inexcusable. It should have been absolutely shut down, and it appears that BGS has no interest in doing that, or at least has no interest in rectifying the situation. And you see a lot of this. There's no transparency from these companies because they don't have to. There's nothing saying that they have to, do an investigation and show everyone what went on. So they don't. All right. So first, the presence of Clemons' artificially inflated cards brought down the price of other BGS customers' cards in the marketplace. Let's say there was legitimately only one BGS 10 in a population report. That card should be pretty valuable. But then Clemons gets one BGS 10 and one black label of the same card. Suddenly, what was once the most pristine copy is not anymore. So that's the thing too. You got to be careful. Even if you're buying the graded cards, if you're grading yourself, you have to be concerned that all of a sudden this guy's just going to come in and grade a card. Or in the case with the Charizard with Logan, can Logan just bring any PSA 10 in and turn it into a BGS 10? And then dilute the value of those higher grades? Like, I don't know. It's terrible. Second, BGS 10s and especially black labels are supposed to be rare. If graders give them out too easily, they won't be rare anymore, so graders have to keep the percentages of 9.5s, 10s, black labels reasonable. So for Clemons to get so many 10s and black labels, the rest of us likely got the short end of the stick to even things out. He got higher grades than he should have, so we got lower grades than we should have. So, I mean, this is hard to prove if they actually want to try to keep it consistent and it would affect other grades, but you have to at least assume that it would be a chance of that happening, so people don't start asking questions like, why are there so many black labels now and not before, or so many 10s now and they weren't before on the same cards. All right, many of us can fill these pages with examples where we submitted the same brands Clemon did: 2018 Topps Chrome Update, 2018 Leaf Metal Draft in much larger quantities and didn't get a single black label, or in some cases even a 10. I believe that's because the graders had to balance out Clemons' undeserved grades. This on a large scale is why everyone who has submitted to BGS is owed an apology and arguably some compensation. Not only did the presence of Clemons' illegitimate 10s and black labels bring down the value of other graded cards in the market, we likely got lower grades to offset his higher ones. So I definitely agree with the first part there. Man, I don't know about the offset, about the like theories that there has to be a certain amount of each, certain percentage of each. That kind of getting into a little bit of territory with like that is hard to prove, but I don't know. You can use it as an argument. I'll accept it as that, but I don't know if it holds much water. All right, here we got action items at the end to finish it off. In my initial post, I had action items for BGS, obvious ones like fire the offenders, stop accepting submissions from Clemons, issue a public statement, etc. But weeks have passed and BGS has not responded yet. So let's focus on what we can do instead. So, like I always said, always say with the scammers or this information that tends to get forgotten, especially or just not seen at all by newcomers in any hobby. Spread the word about this to others. There's no reason everyone shouldn't know about it. If you're going to be grading, especially with this company or any other company, you should just be aware that this stuff is going on. Share it on another forum, write a blog post of your own, notify sports card publications, and tell friends, colleagues. The more people who know about this, the more attention it gets, the better our chances for reform and justice. Don't buy BGS 10s or black labels. I personally would never buy a BGS 10 or a black label because I would have no intention of keeping it in the case, but I will, buy a near mint or mint copy to crack for my binder collections. Stop submitting to BGS unless they get their act together. So this is hard to do, especially in these times where everyone is trying to grade everything under the sun. There's pretty much no way that you're going to stop them from getting business at the moment. Try to find out if there are others like Clemons. I agree. I think we should shine light on every situation that is even remotely as sketchy as this one. Don't buy leaf cards. So yeah, I mean, man, there's a lot of people, the people that are buying these cards, the people that had cards before that are dropping in price. All around bad look for BGS, and something that they should have been transparent about and resolve the issue and publicly disclose what was being done. But it seems that's not the case. Thanks, guys, for tuning in, and I'm sure there'll be more of these. The other grading companies will get their fair share as well. So stay tuned for those. Have a good one. Bye.